Welcome everybody to PAPAPRENEUR show. This is season number 2, and we're keeping our promise of changing the paradigm of fatherhood one interview at a time. This podcast is produced by Family Filmmaker. Hey, how is it going? Welcome everyone to another episode of PAPAPRENEUR show. This is the first episode of 2021. Welcome, and I hope you are up for all things good in this new year. So in season 2, we're keeping our promise of changing the paradigm of fatherhood one interview at a time. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, click on the little bell icon after you subscribe, and that's the way you're gonna be finding all the notifications when we're going live. Now, this show is live today. Today is Thursday, January 7, 2021, and it's 8 p.m. here in Calgary. We have guests from all over the world, so that's why it's worth mentioning the time zone. We are going to have a little bit of a different show today because we are here to help. And before we go into our main topic for the evening, I want to ask you to write down in the comments below from where you are tuning in. Full disclosure, a little bit of the show, like the first 5 minutes or so, we're going to have to switch to Spanish because the information that we are helping spread the word on is related to something that is going on in Caracas, Venezuela, my hometown. Before we get into that, I need to remind you that this entire show is produced by Family Filmmaker, and Family Filmmaker is our very own and beloved video production company. We provide services both in English and Spanish to local domestic communities here in Calgary, Alberta, to small business owners and families, and we also serve people all over the world. And why is that? You're wondering, because we are able to provide services online. We can hop on a free consultation, a 30-minute consultation with you guys, and discover what's the best path to become a reality of what you want to become. Podcast at familyfilmmaker.ca. That's us. You can drop a line, say hello. Else, you can jump in the live chat, and that's one of the one of the sections that people love the most about this show, because you can interact here live. If you are catching the replay, you can watch us on Instagram TV. You can hear us on any podcast platform in the planet, pretty much. We're ready to present the first section of the show. As you saw the promo for this episode, probably you saw the word traditions. And when we talk about traditions, it's inevitably mixed and intertwined with family and friendship. So I am so happy to present tonight our guest. We have someone here just waiting for me to pop in the camera that I've been wanting to chat about parenting and fatherhood and motherhood for the longest time on air with our friend. So welcome to the show, Thais. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here in the PAPAPRENEUR, being the mamapreneur that I am. So it's really an honor. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, you're very, very welcome to the show. And we were just chatting on off air about the many routes that we could take to have this show started. And the reason why is you wear many hats, right? So you are in charge of an entire operation, which is called getting the kids on time everywhere. So that's just a full-time job on its own. On top of that, you had your own business. On top of that, you helped your husband with his business. And on top of that, now you told me other stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? Because people will be like wondering, like, okay, what's going on here?
So, first of all, I was thrilled when you told me about this program, because it's the first one that I do, the first podcast that I do in English. So that's a challenge, and I love challenges. And motherhood is a challenge. So And then traditions for me, especially on this day, well, it was yesterday. So I wanted to take this opportunity to share. I don't know if everybody knows, but Ivan's family, the Papapreneur's family, they host all of Ivan and Karina's friends over for Dia de Reyes. So
That's right.
so the Wise Kings Day, and we would meet and make pan de jamon, which is a bread filled with ham and other deliciousness that is typical in Venezuela. It's a tradition in Venezuela. And once we graduated and moved away from Venezuela, we one day we were talking and we were like, hey, we had this tradition. What happened to this? So we tried to meet our little tribe of friends. It takes a tribe to raise children, even
It
though
takes a village. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, even though it may be digital tribe, a village. So we meet, and we each one of us in our homes, we make the pan de jamon, and we share and we joke and we drink together, and we share things about parenthood and about tough times and good times. And this trip is amazing because I have such great friends. So thank you.
Absolutely. That.
So going back to your question, I know I
Yeah.
took a long time with the introduction. So I have a business that is called TNL Nutrition. I am a health coach. I'm board certified here in the States. I live in the States, but I'm Canadian also. So with this business, I got together with other friends from school, and we created Active Acer. So these two businesses are created to help to serve moms, basically, in general women, but we have that spot for moms that are planning on regaining their health, on taking back that space that sometimes we let loose and gets mixed up in the shuffle, and go back in the saddle and eat better, move more, take care of the mind and the spirit. So both of these businesses are basically my way of giving back health.
Mm-hmm.
This is because 5 years ago, I went through a very hard spot in my life where my health wasn't as good. And at that time, with motherhood in mind, I wrote these books. So English and Spanish, and I wrote them. And then a friend of mine who was going through the same thing, breast cancer, she made the illustrations. And we also have the same book, but in a drawing book format, so
Mm-hmm.
people can sit with their children and share while drawing and creating. So basically, I'm very passionate about motherhood, about health, and that's why I do what I do.
Well, that's a lovely way, and you have the power of synthesis as well. Because when I was asking you questions, I asked you like 7 questions, and I believe you answered them all. Now, what we didn't cover though was the fact that the traditional gatherings that my mom and my dad hosted for long years back home in Caracas, Venezuela. We didn't talk too much about that. And when you ask if people know or not, well, you guys tell me. If you are tuning in, and I see there is about, what, like 12 people tuning in or something. So if you know me from my life prior to Canada, you might know. So why don't you write down in the comments below what is it that you remember from those gatherings. Thais was sharing with us that she remembered the laughter, the telling our stories, like our everyday stories. And yeah, I remember I remember Thais told us she was leaving the country on one of those meetings. So she moved to she moved overseas, and then she spent time in Canada, like a number of years, and then now she's in North Carolina. Correct?
Yeah, I that on that last live Pan de Jamon fiesta, um, I told you guys that I was moving to Mexico, and I lived there for 2 years. I
That's
lived 10 years
right.
in Canada, yeah, and then I have been here the rest.
Yeah. So, well, speaking about traditions, so we are. Oh my goodness! When you're an immigrant, you decide what you carry with you. And by the way, I don't know if you can see with or without the delay, but just Tenchi just wrote on the comments your life before being Tenchi's husband. So yeah, that's right, absolutely right. Um, Speaking about traditions, when you're an immigrant, you decide what you bring with you, not only in your suitcase, but cultural speaking, memories speaking, and a very long list of things that you think you're going to need. So I know it sounds, a little bit, how do you say that? Like materialistic, but I cried for like 10 minutes straight, and that was a long time ago. I can still remember. At some point after I was living in Canada, my mom and dad managed to send me a box, like a bin, like a plastic bin, with toys from my own childhood. And the reason why I cry so much is because I never thought my kids will be playing with those toys. So I'm talking about like a vintage Spider-Man, like He-Man and the Friends. I don't know, like a ninja that I used to play with when I was a little kid. And this short story, just to ask you, what do you miss if you're an immigrant from the time that you didn't know that you're going to leave your country? Because those traditions are important. I mean, you're carrying on with your culture and with your family legacy and so many other things. But then again, is it material stuff, or is it just like the activities and the experiences, and you know what I'm saying, the good memories and the time you spend together? What do you think? Write on the comments below on our live chat. What do you think about these considerations: material stuff, experiences, just being with family? I believe there are so many things that we can consider in this conversation. Wouldn't you agree, Thais?
Definitely, and I have been blessed in that my dad and my siblings and my stepmom, they live in Toronto. So when we were in Canada, we were fortunate enough to have them over frequently and visit them frequently. So the early childhood of my children was surrounded by what I feel is one of the more important gifts
Mm-hmm.
that we can give to our children, and that's grandparents. Um,
That's very
that
important.
for once. I believe that I am the woman I am because of my grandma Rosita and my grandma Mariana and my tia mi amor. They were that angular rock that gave me love, unconditional love, and taught me to love regardless of mistakes and preferences and politics and religion and race. So
Yeah.
that for me, it's been a blessing because I grew as a mom to realize that children will love what they have close.
Mm.
These ethereal ideas of, oh, the school where my mom went to for 13 years. And for me, that was my second home. That is such an important place in my mind. But for them, it's non-existent. It's just a name.
Yeah.
I also have some toys that my mom was gracious enough to bring to Canada and then move with me here to States.
Wow,
And
really?
yeah, I have actually I have my first toy, and
Is it smelly?
it is gross because it is plastic. It's like an elephant, like a pink elephant, and it's plastic. And my older kid, she decided to use it in the bathtub.
Mm.
You know what? Why not? So it was going in and out of the bathtub for many years. And then one day he retired, and I had to, you know, put bleach inside and put it in the sun and try to. But it's gross, but I love the idea of them playing with something that I played with.
Hmm.
Um, and with that in mind, my mom also gave me some clothes that I use for my baptism and the day she took me out of
Oh,
the.
wow.
So my kids use those clothes also, and I gave away all of the baby clothes when we decided we were not going to have more kids, and it was like a very solemn moment for me. I shed a tear to a lot of memories in there, but I couldn't part with what was once mine. Not because it was mine, because some pieces were made by my grandmas, some pieces were given to me by my godmother, things like that. And I understood that there is no real value on those items if I don't give value to them. But
Hmm.
since I give value to them, they are important.
Of course.
So language, that's the other big thing. As you said, well said at the beginning of the program, feelings are better expressed in your mother tongue. Um, when I had my second kid, she was premature, and I started labor, and I went to the hospital like 3 or 4 times, and they will send me back. And the last time, I was so mad because I knew that I was in labor, and the doctors were very dismissive. And this was an English doctor,
Hmm.
the one that was in the ER, and he's like all proper talking to me, and I was in pain, and I said in Spanish, "You know what? I don't care. If you send me home, I'm gonna have my baby home, and you're gonna be responsible." But all of this in Spanish, and you're my home, and screaming at him. And he said, "I don't know what you said, but I feel what you said, so you're staying." So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
feelings are better expressed in your mother tongue, definitely.
Yeah, I remember some of those uh, moments before the moment of the truth when we were on the delivery room. And yes, Tenchi would not speak English unless it's like, like short phrases. And yeah, absolutely. So, language, material possessions, experiences, and
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I think one of the most important things that I will keep from what you said is whatever it is that we give value or we put value into. So
Mm.
it could be something that for somebody else is utterly insignificant, and yet it's gonna mean the world for us. So let's go to the comments because yeah, I'm reading a couple of very good ones here. So, making pan de jamón is the way we celebrate Dia de Reyes, Kingsman Day, here at home in Canada. That's my wife. I love you. And yes,
That's also my kids. That's the only tradition of Christmas that they love. The only Venezuelan tradition that they
oh,
love.
and I need to ask you something about that because you've given it a twist, and I believe. Well, but let me just I'll be right back to this. So the next one is Silvia Contreras from Panama saying, "Oh my goodness, that story is too much." I believe she was talking about either the pink elephant or probably the box of toys that was sent overseas when I moved to Canada. And then Tenchi, in regards to the question about material possessions and whatnot, she's kindly clarifying for us in case I didn't get the memo. Our kids do not get more stuff / toys / junk, but enjoy making paper crowns and making pan de jamon. You see? So again, it's not everybody values the same set of
The
things.
same thing.
Right? So, Silvia, again, from Panamá. Yo tengo un vestido, mi mamá lo guardó por 40 años con la esperanza de que su nieta lo vistiera. So, Silvia is saying that Dinora, her mom, kept a little dress from the time she was little with the hopes of the granddaughter, of course, the granddaughter wasn't even born, of course, hoping for the granddaughter to wear it at some point in her life. Silvia says, Tenchi, I could not agree more about buying toys. Betty Wu says she still keeps a coat which belonged to her mother when she was in her 20s. And after, some alterations and fixing it, she really takes good care of it and she likes it. Thank you, Betty Wu, for tuning in. I really appreciate what's becoming of our Spanish-speaking community here in Calgary because we're supporting each other. I help Betty Wu with her podcast on Mondays. So thank you very much for tuning in. And in regards to your comment about, I'm going to add this one to the screen so you can elaborate on it. The power of a mad pregnant woman.
Yeah, it's powerful. It is, definitely.
Yeah, and then...
So I wanted to address your mom's comment. As I said at the beginning that my grandmas were an inspiration for me to be who I am. I want to be Miss Lina to my kids' friends. That's my goal.
Hosting?
I want to be my kids' friends, Miss Lina.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah. So here's my mom dropping a comment here on our live chat. For many, many years, I have felt blessed and honored to have been able to teach my kids, my nieces and my nephews, my kids' friends, and now my grandkids, many of our culinary traditions. But the one we all love most is the pan de jamon making. So there's no contest. All of the people mentioning stuff in the live chat have mentioned the pan de jamon. Now Silvia from Panama is saying, hooray para el pan de jamon de Lina Acacio. So thank you very much for all of your comments on the live chat. If you are tuning this in, on Friday or something, and you're catching a replay, please leave us a line below and let's have the conversation started. How do you feel about traditions? Or either way, you can drop us a line at podcast@filmmaker.ca. Now, Thais, speaking about pan de jamon, I told you I was going to ask you something really specific. And this is the twist that you've given to it. You are no longer eating meat, protein for that matter, for the longest time. So no bacon, no ham. How do you make pan de jamon?
Yes, I have been vegetarian for 17 years now. And no, not 17, 15. Yeah. And we basically made the pan de jamon with mock ham and mock bacon, like tempeh bacon and mock ham. And then the rest is the same. I haven't been able to eat pan de jamon for the last 2 years because turns out I am celiac. So I cannot have gluten. So I try to make something similar to it, but it was like I use coconut flour in one attempt. I use almond flour in the other. I use oat flour in the other. And after those 3 attempts, I said, you know what, it's not happening.
Yeah,
And the
the
thing,
almond flour doesn't help. Like the consistency doesn't make the cut.
yeah, and the other thing is that the ham, the mock ham that we use, is basically gluten based. So it only had the tempeh bacon. So it wasn't like, not even close. So it's not worth the hustle. Well, but I have to say, my kids love that tradition so much that they count a day. And this year we had to make the whole recipe, so 4 breads, and they were eating pan de jamon for like a week. They didn't have a piece, and I was like, well, okay, that's good for me. Dinner is
Yeah. So speaking about traditions, it's like when you spend like a whole 3 days in the ayaca preparation. That's another one of our Venezuelan traditional meals for Christmas, or for year end for that matter, or for the whole month of December for that matter. You end up having ayacas for breakfast, for lunch, for supper, and maybe for snack, even then. So for those of you that are not from Venezuela, I see some people from Mexico tuning in. I believe it's time for us to ask you, what are the traditional meals over there, and have you found any bottlenecks, something like inconvenience, ingredients you cannot find when you're in another country and whatnot? Why don't you help us commenting on the live chat? So Tenchi just wrote, create your own traditional gluten-free slash vegan slash non-GMO slash no baked good and share it with us. And that's why I wanted to bring this question to you, Thais, because you have discovered a twist into so many things
yeah.
food related, and then the birth, the genesis of TNL nutrition has to do with it. So since we are more than halfway in our show, why don't we hear from you? How did that TNL nutrition, how do you say that?
Impacted, influenced.
Yeah, like what are you doing to change people's lives? Because I see that you clearly put a lot of effort in walking your talk. And then when it comes to approach others will have to be on the same journey that you are. You know what I'm saying? Like normally people don't know what they don't know. So do you take a lot of time in trying to explain things to people, or they just come to you because they know you are in this quest? You know what I'm saying?
I will say 50-50. Both TNL and ActiveAcer um, receive questions on requests of services from people that, for example, I receive a lot of requests from daughters that are seeing their parents' health deteriorate, and they want them to take a different approach to life. And normally, what happens is that the parents are very resistant because they are not the ones asking for the service. So
Mm.
it transforms into a very collective, very beautiful family thing, family affair. The daughters that come and think, oh, I have it figured out. I have my own ways, but my parents, they need help. They end up transforming their lives, and it's just fantastic. It's a privilege to be able to be a part of that. I also work with women that are going through breast cancer treatment. I support them with nutrition, and we have also behavioral change coaching sessions.
So you offer that service?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So because of the way laws work here in the States, I cannot get very deep into nutrition because I'm not a nutritionist or a registered dietitian. So It's more a matter of education and awareness. And it really resonates with me. It's not, I'm going to give you this formula.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is I'm going to teach you how to get to a point where you see yourself in the mirror and you cannot resist blowing a kiss to yourself. I'm going to take you to that point where you understand when you need to serve more in your jar so
Mm.
you can keep serving others. I'm going to
So
walk you in that path.
so you're really a nice kick in the butt to people.
I try to be a very polite and sneaky one, but yes.
Yeah, because this is what happens, and this is why I told you earlier. People don't know what they don't know, right? So, would not I have married the amazing woman that I married? There were so many things I would ignore about how the human body works, nutrition and digestion works, um, skincare works, and those are, by all means, those are not my cup of tea. Like, I don't go reading books, but I do listen when she tells me, right? And that said, to make you guys, all of the viewers, not only you and your family, but everybody, reflect upon this. People that crosses your path crosses it for a reason,
Definitely.
right? Now, it's up to us as the creators of our own reality to be open, at least to listen and see if we can, accept some of those foreign agents, those things that at the beginning will not resonate with us, and then at some point we're going to be a little bit more drowned towards, if that makes sense. And I'm saying it because changing paradigms, normally we think starts at some point. We don't voluntarily realize when the paradigms are about to change. But on that example that you're saying, when there is a daughter to a senior adult wanting to bring change to the life of this senior, and the senior doesn't want to, you need to first break the paradigm and say, okay, so there are a couple of ways to do this, and your health is at stake. So are you willing to do the work that needs to be done? I bet
And
I bet at some point people will have to say yes eventually.
well, it will depend on how deep the limiting beliefs are. Um, if you look at coaching, what coaching is, I know that there are um, groups of people that are not in sync with the concept of a coach, and they are tired of listening about coaches. And coaches are people that uh, basically are not smart enough to go to medical school or wherever, business school or wherever, but they want to fix your life anyways because they are bossy. But if you understand
Mm-hmm.
what coaching is, if you understand that it is an open conversation led by the client, that leads to the discovery of what lies beneath that surface,
Mm-hmm.
beneath that habit, that impulse, that response, that stress. You open that Pandora box, but it's not irresponsibly. You don't leave it open. You guide what
Mm-hmm.
jumps out. You go and you guide that person through a path. And then when there are turns, that client, that person will decide, willingly or not, which way they want to go. And the coach is there to keep that person safe, to reassure, to
Yeah.
give accountability, not to force, not to brainwash, not to impose. So I am really passionate about it because it truly is a beautiful profession.
I love what I'm hearing, and when it comes to metaphors and comparisons, I can just think of um, you will not you will not leave your how do you say, your coachee, you will not leave your coachee to plummet down or to free fall. That's why you're here to guide. And then the only difference between the coach and the friend is you will have to keep yourself not so emotionally invested that you're going to be affected for what's going on. Because if I am here to help you and I know my stuff, and you're my friend, maybe we can get into an argument. So do you happen to face arguments when the people when you're coaching people?
Not really. Um, I decided years ago that I am not going to be confrontational, not in my private life, not in my profession. So I don't play that game. If I find a wall, I just try to paint over it and make it bearable or more beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, it is very eye opening to see that a lot of people only need to be heard, to be listened, to be seen.
Hmm.
And after you have established that rapport, that first encounter with what is possible, that wall just disappear, disintegrates.
Wow.
So
I
I have to say that I don't get into arguments. I just let it flow.
Right on, right on. Very good. So we have Tenchi commenting here. So she says, "I'm sorry, but sadly, doctors are not trained to do that. They don't have the time for that conversation to look for the root cause of the things, but diagnose and prescribe. So, yay for coaches." And on that regard, Thais, uh, I'm gonna drop two questions now for you. Now, number one, simple. Do you provide services both in English and Spanish? And how can people get in touch with you? That's number one. And number two, do you um, make efforts to reach one to many instead of one on one? Because with that part, with the second part of the question, I want to guide you into the last section of the show, which are the challenges, in which I humbly try to, uh, see what resources are available, and we can, aim together for a better future. Whether this future is, improving the quality of the services, or not the services, improving the quality of the reach of your services, or make them, available to more people. So it's a very long questions, but yes, one, language; two, type of services and reach; and then how can people get a hold of you?
Well, that's very exciting, and I'm very appreciative of your offering, and that's a part of what brought me here to listen to your guidance because I trust you. You're very knowledgeable in this respect, and I believe that when you work in your passion, you do it well,
Mm.
and this is your passion. So um, I will accept your comments and advice with an open heart and an open mind. Yes, I provide services both in English and in Spanish. I will say that at the moment, I have maybe 60% Spanish clients and then 40% English.
Okay.
You can hit me at Instagram at TNL Nutrition. Yeah, and if you go to the link tree there, you will be able to see the link to buy the books if you want to support that cause also. Um, and we donate a part of the proceedings to a center that helps patients directly here in East North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's there in the link tree. And then you can also find, if you want a group experience, group accountability,
Oh,
you
wait,
can.
give me 1 second. So I'm gonna click here on buy your
Yeah.
ebooks, right?
Yep. No, that's all the ebooks that I have written. So those are digital resources. So the
Nice.
yeah, I have some there. It's
Here, this one here.
yep.
There you go.
So it is in Amazon, so you can buy it from wherever you are in this world. And I hope you enjoy it. And if you do buy it, I will really, really, truly appreciate if you leave me a comment or review, something that you liked. You share your experience. It's just fantastic to be connected to people that have the same energy and is in the same web, in the same interest.
Yes.
The other for group experiences, it is Soy Activacer at Soy Activacer, also in Instagram. Those are basically accountability groups, and we have programs for women that, well, we have actually have some gentlemen in our groups. We lead some ketogenic people, some vegetarian people, paleo people, omnivore people. Like, it depends on what you want, but also we try to aim to what you need. uh, Due to biodiversity, we are all different, and we need to understand that the diet or the dietary, the nutritional habits of your neighbor are not going to be good for you. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be. So we find out what makes you different in your habits and what can improve your health, and then
Yeah.
we depart from there and offer this group options. So TNL is more one-on-one, and Active Asset is for groups.
Are you joining with some partners in these initiatives, or are those yours?
Yeah. So TNL is mine. I am the sole provider. And then I do also with TNL, I do conferences. I go to, let's say, like here in my area, there is a juice bar, and they have a space for conferences. So I have been there like 3 times talking to people about the benefits of including more vegetables and fruits in your diet.
Did you wait a second? Did you bring a camera with you?
I did. Not a good camera though, my phone.
No, I've been saying for the longest time the best camera in the world is the one that is handy when you need it. So don't worry about
Oh
that. And also the cell phones these days are wonderful. So let me just hold you for a second because I want to spend some time here on what we discuss on the difference between one-to-one and one-to-many, because when you work one-to-one, you are providing an excellent service, but the cost of your own time is not divided, so it's expensive and it's costly. So what I'm saying is, in order to reach more people, or in other words, using your resources more, like, how do you say that, like wisely, I want you to start thinking about webinars. And I'm gonna drop my 2 cents, like they say here, on something that I don't know if you have considered, but webinar software is crazy expensive. Sometimes it's like 100 US a month. So it pretty adds up pretty much if you're a startup. So for those of you that are not familiar with webinar software, you will have to pay a certain amount of money to the developer to host all of the pages and the offer page and the recording for the video and whatnot. Now, for a project of mine, for a project of a client of mine, I've been researching, and this is what I want to leave you with as an information for, pursue this one to many. I just found out there is a company that launched 2020. They have 1 year launching the product only, and they found a way to provide you as a service provider with webinars for a one lifetime fee instead of a monthly subscription. I am not related to it. I'm not making any money. It's just something that it called my attention. You might want to benefit from it. It's called webinarkit.com, and you pay only once. Now, it's not perfect. It has limitations because it's not as powerful as the other companies that are over the market for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. But it's a very good starting point, because what's going to happen is, if you're familiar with what's called funneling in social media and marketing, you will start with the very wide top of the funnel, capturing interest of people on the same topics that you're an expert at. And then if they go through the webinar, they have a little bit more of interest. And at the end of the webinar, you can place an offer. And from that offer, you can narrow down and probably provide them with some free or cost-free information. I'm not going to say information is free, because everything has a cost, but you're willing to give something in order to receive their attention, and they will acknowledge you as the expert. So this system that I'm explaining right now, it's called funneling, and we can also help people with finding the best funnel for the service they are providing. So if you're a business owner like Thais or like myself, and you are interested in getting the right attention from the right crowd, funneling is what you need to do. So maybe we can have this conversation in another setting for a longer time, because it's now 9 here in Calgary. It must be like, I don't know, 10 or 11 at your at your city. Yeah. So yes, that's one of the things that I try to do every time when my guests are facing any kind of growth challenge in regards to their business. Probably we can come up with at least one idea. So in this case, webinarkit.com. I see that Sylvia is replying to your comment before. Super recommended. I had the chance to help Thais on Activacer a few months ago, and I love what she is doing. Now that the show is about to be done, I need to give full disclosure. Sylvia was supposed to be in this show as well, but we couldn't manage to communicate with her on time. And I think we're going to have to make another episode with Sylvia. She's in Panama, and she's a very good friend of mine. And as I said at the beginning of the show, it's all about traditions. So any final thoughts, any final message for our viewers today, Thais?
Yeah, I feel that 2020 have left us a very important lesson. And wealth for me is measured in health since 2014. But I feel that every day more and more people awakens to that concept of measuring what they have to be grateful for in how healthy they are, to be able to work, be productive, attain goals, share time with the people they love, wherever you want to name it. And as parents, it is very challenging to plant that seed of health and portions, and, get away from colorants and chemicals and preservatives, and choose fruits and vegetables before you choose anything else, and have a colorful plate and mix your textures. And especially when the kids start growing up and they go to school and they see what the other classmates are bringing in. So for all the mamapreneurs and the papapreneurs that divide their attention and their time between their businesses and the taxations of life and their
Mm.
kids, show yourself some grace. You are doing it wonderfully. They are going to be healthy. You are going to be healthy. Just hang in there. Keep
Hmm.
trying. Rinse and repeat. But don't fuss about it. It's not worth it, because being healthy is not just a matter of a colorful plate. Being healthy is being well here
Mm.
and being able to do this without starting a world war. So if you are always nagging and always trying to make it happen, sometimes the battle begins. So pick your battles. 2 days without a proper dinner are not going to ruin their health. And sometimes a piece of chocolate will make you bond more than a carrot. So balance, balance, my friends.
Balance, balance. All right. Well, we make our effort to. I was gonna say we try, but let me just bring Master Yoda here. Do or do not. Do or do not. There is no try. So I was gonna say, and you see, he's holding a camera. You see?
Of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. You gotta see. Just Nico just gave me a lot of his Star Wars characters. So anyhow, I was gonna say that we attempt to be balanced, and sometimes we just lose the balance. So nowadays, without the school and all the uh, uh, how do you say that conditions from the outside, with all of the COVID related restrictions, the kids are going to bed super late, and we were uh, playing the guilt trip, and we just decided, okay, tomorrow is another opportunity to do it better, and the day after that is another opportunity to do it even better. So we will get back to balance. So yeah, Tenchi saying that we have 3 boys at home, so I am one of them. Yeah, there is a silver lining in what we allow ourselves to do when we think we are over the edge of our comfort zone. So as I always
Yeah.
say at the end of every episode, we all strive for doing what's best for us, and we all do it with the concept of well-being in mind. The thing is that well-being means different things for different people. So I really strongly advise you to go grab your cell phone and follow Thais on social media. So you have the social media handle right on the screen, TNL Nutrition, and the other one is Activa Servo. You can find her over there on her
Yes.
Instagram bio. There are all the links. And with this said, I have to say farewell and goodbye, because we've come to the end of the show. It's been such a pleasure. We didn't have our regular traditional Kingsman Day gathering because of all of the things that are going on, but I did my best to have you guys over. Sylvia was virtually the entire show commenting. So even though she was not on the screen, she's here with us. And I just received a message from my compadre Esteban. Esteban's wife just had a baby not so long ago, and they are having one of those rough nights. So that's why he couldn't be here with us. Anyhow, Thais, I love you. You're a wonderful friend. Thank you
Lord.
very much for being at the Papapreneur show. Yes, like I can put that check mark on.
You made it happen.
Yeah, we made it
Yeah.
happen. Oh my goodness. Lina Acacio is asking for the rapid fire questions, but we are over the time. So have you heard our rapid fire questions at Papapreneur show, Thais Alejandra?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
Alive.
these questions need to be answered in like words, not ideas, no long
Yep.
concepts. All right, so we're gonna try to do it the fastest that we've done it in 2 seasons, because we're over the time. So there you go. So Rapid fire questions today at Papapreneur Show with Thais Alejandra Luy, all the way from North Carolina, US. And first question, Thais, what's your happy place?
The beach.
What are you obsessed about?
Nutrition.
What is the farthest away you've been from your hometown and why?
Israel, Tel Aviv, Israel. Well, Taipei. And
That's a little bit far, yeah.
Yeah, tagging along with my husband. He was traveling for business. I was traveling for pleasure.
Right on. Now, next question is a funny one. There is an eternal debate on how the toilet paper hangs out of the wall in the support. So at your household, is it over or under and why?
Depends on who is the one putting it in. And I don't fuss about that. I really don't mind, don't have a preference.
So you're walking your talk when you say that you don't look for confrontations. Next question in the rapid fire questions for Thais Alejandra. When you are dining in with Jeff and you guys are sitting at the table, do you guys sit across each other on the table or next to each other and why?
If we are alone, we are close to each other. If we are with the kids, in front to each other because we sit with one kid. So one parent, one kid, one parent, one kid. But we sit
divide and conquer, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right on. Now, I think I'm missing one, but let's go with this one. Thais, how do you want to be remembered when you're no longer here?
As someone that left being happy.
Right on. I'm pretty sure because of, for the sake of time, I've been missing questions because I know there are like 10 or so, but I'm so grateful to have you here. Even
though I had my hair going crazy, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't see anything crazy about your hair. I see you're beautiful, radiant, happy, and I am so happy that I could share your knowledge, your wisdom, and your cheerfulness with all of our guests here, with our viewers here at Papapreneur Show. I really enjoy our conversation.
Me too.
We're gonna be posting this entire episode on Instagram TV and YouTube. So you can please go and follow us at Papapreneur Show if you write down the hashtag Papapreneur Show. Else you can find us everywhere else as Family Filmmaker, our video production company. And we have to announce the guest for next week. The guest for next week is going to be at Get Cover. Get Cover is a musical initiative that will blow you out of your seat. So they are using something that is like a music, like a tool for compiling music from anywhere around the globe. So actually, our guests are gonna be one in Spain and the other one here in Canada. So with that said, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you guys next week with season 2 of Papapreneur Show, changing the paradigm of fatherhood one interview at a time, produced by Family Filmmaker. If you have any questions, write us a message, podcast@familyfilmmaker.ca, and please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Go right now and subscribe because you guys are talking about, hey, when is the next episode? Of course, because you have not subscribed. When you subscribe, you will get notifications, and if you click on the little bell icon, you will see every episode without any delay. So thanks a lot for being with us, and see you guys next week. Bye for now.
Family Filmmaker.